Hey YouTube, this is just going to be a real quick snake care video for AusHerps. You should go check out his channel if you haven't already. But alright, here you go. So, thinking about setting up a snake enclosure. Well, what do you need? Enclosure? So, what size? Well, that depends on your snake. I've got coastal carpet. That's vodka. He's 3 or something. He's small for his age, but he's around 160 centimeters or so. So, 4.5 feet. So this is 4 foot by 3 foot. No, that doesn't make sense. 4 foot by 1.5 foot by 2 foot, I think. Vent. You can get up in there. More vents. Yeah, each enclosure will depend on your snake. Like a spotted python, most of the time they don't get big. They don't get as big as my boy up there. He's around the same size as vodka, but fatter. He's big for a spotted python. He's in the same size enclosure. They're a big 2-bank thing. And yeah, that's about it for enclosures. They're fairly simple, good ventilation. Sliding front doors are usually good and decent size. Heating. That's that's just a 100-watt ceramic heater meter. I don't really know how much heat it throws. All I know is it's warm that end, cool that end, nice and hot up on that branch, so it's hot spot. Lighting, not too important, just a 2-foot fluoro. Hides, I've got one there, and you can hide under the branches in that log there. Make sure they can fit inside, fairly tightly, but not too squishy because they like to be in, small hides. Substrate, I use Agrisorb reptile bedding. It's hemp, just chipped and cut up and shit. It's not too bad. $12 a bag, and the bag does full enclosure. Branches, I got a big one there and a small log thing there, and plants. Water, just keep a water bowl full of water at the cool end at all times. What else is there? Food. Right. Vodka. He usually takes. Well, I think he can take 2 medium quails now. So he gets that about once a week, but every now and again I fast him. Just, when I'm about to, maybe take him out somewhere. Because he usually has a habit of, dumping a big crap on me. And sizes of the snakes. Well, you can get anything from, stimmos, which, they don't get much too bigger than a metre or 1.20 m usually. All the way up to scrubbies, which are sitting at, I know a guy that's got a 4-metre scrubby, and coastal carpets. They get pretty big. They get up there with scrubbies. He's a coastal carpet. His dad was something like 3 meters or something ridiculous. Big snake when I picked him up from the breeder. Yeah, they're not too hard to care for. They can live 20 odd years. It depends how you keep them. Depends on the snake. That sort of stuff depends on the breeding. They're not too hard to keep. Just keep the enclosure warm at that end, cool at that end with the water bowl. Good hides, good food, good air circulation. Handle them often as you can. Usually, as a rule, don't hold them for about a day after you feed them. So, for example, if you feed them on a Monday, don't handle them on the Tuesday, and then you should be right to handle them on the Wednesday. If you do get a snappy snake, sometimes you need to push through it, but other times you get an asshole like spotted python there. His enclosure still needs a clean, by the way. I've had him for 4 odd years now, and he's always been an asshole. Literally the day I brought him home, he latched onto my mum's hand. So some snakes just are like that, but others, they do start out snappy, but with good handling and usually feeding them properly, they do calm down a lot. But most of the time, if you've got a snake over 2 years or so and it's aggressive, it'll usually be aggressive for the rest of its life. And that's not a nice thing if you've got a big scrubby or an olive or a coastal carpet. But I'll just get him out real quick. Oh, and another thing. Snake hooks. A good snake hook. This was $10. Best investment I've made. Like, before I wouldn't be able to get tequila out of his enclosure. Even vodka's got a big, strong feeding response at night, so I get him out with this. Best $10 I spent. Alright, so, for the whole setup, realistically, it'll be like $300 for a setup like this, because, 50 for that light, 50 for the fitting, Another 20 for that light. I got the enclosure for shit all, but they can range in price. My dad built the enclosure, that's why it's so cheap. Substrate, $12. Hides, that's $1. That's $1 from a cheap shop. It's an upside down pot to cut a notch out of. That was like 15, $20. Plants, $2. Log, I found the log. Water bowl, like $1. Yeah, not too much. Food can be a bit expensive when you're getting a bigger snake, but it's not too much. And pricing for snakes, you can get a green tree python or some ridiculous morph that you'll pay, crazy prices, $5-6 upwards, or you can get coastal carpets from a good breeder I got him for $80, so he's best buy. I love my boy, but you can see he's got a bit of a food response, so this is where the hook comes in good. Just touch him. This is his sort of size. I'll go over my mirror. Apologies for the messy room. But that's the sort of size he gets up to. 3 years old. He's only little for his age. But, yeah, it's his enclosure nice and clean now. Put him back in. And, they might be a bit restless when you put them in, but that's kind of good to watch. Because, they out scouting around the new smells. I know some snakes get stressed. I've had a few mates, my snake, won't eat for a few weeks after I clean their enclosure. So I've heard of keeping some of the substrate, like some of the clean substrate, a couple of handfuls, and sprinkle it over the new stuff. And they won't get stressed. But yeah, all in all, snakes aren't too hard to keep. Definitely, if you've got a reptile collection and you don't have a snake, get one. They're brilliant animals. Don't know why so many people hate them. But especially carpets. I love my carpets. But yeah, enjoy.